Russia-Ukraine war, ancient astrology predictions.
Wait. I think we went live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Kind of an emergency video. A lot of you requested that mundane astrologer Trifon Nikolov would tell us what's happening with Russia and Ukraine, make some predictions about the situation. I'm not at all familiar with the situation, why they're fighting. I don't know much, but maybe you can tell us a bit more. How do you see things according to the constellations and the stars? What are they saying about this conflict?
Hello, everybody. So, a big tragedy, of course. I will talk a little bit about the history also, and I will then deal with the astrology part. So this is necessary just to know some things for the people that don't know, of course. You know, Russia and Ukraine are actually very deeply related. Actually, in medieval times, even Russia was in the country that began the existence of Russia was in the lands of what is today Ukraine, and so on, and so on. Later, what?
They are the same people. They're brother nations.
Yes, they are almost the same. Almost the same, we can say. So, and also the lands of Ukraine in medieval times also were conquered by Asian conquerors. Some of the relatives of Genghis Khan, the so-called Golden Horde. They associated themselves later with the Ottoman Empire, and Russia led many wars in order to free the lands of what is today Ukraine from oppression. So this is a long thing going on centuries and centuries. It's a big part of the history of Russia. And so in this way, Russia has a big connection. So then we go to the 20th century, where the people of Ukraine suffered a lot because of the big changes that happened in Russia. I mean, the communist regime. There is something called Golodomor, which happened in Ukraine, which means big hunger, because of the big changes imposed by Stalin happened, and millions of people died, and so on. So, in a way, this country is related both with very good things and really bad, terrible experiences with Russia. But it has also very good connections, and also has freedom from Russia in the past. Has achieved independence from oppression because of Russia. However, let's go to the present moment. So, and for many reasons, Russia considers, because of those reasons, actually Russia considers Ukraine more or less to be part of her, actually. I think this is what they think in Moscow, because in a large part of the history this was so. And so whether they have some right or not, now let's see what astrology says about the events now. I will start from afar a little bit. I will follow my notes here. First, I will remind you of some predictions that I made and that actually happened now to be already true. If you remember in the videos about the influence of Jupiter and Saturn conjunctions, and later in the predictions for the last year, I mentioned that there will be a nuclear crisis. So you probably already know, this already happened yesterday. Yesterday, there was a battle in the site of the nuclear plant Chernobyl. fearsome place where one of the biggest accidents with nuclear energy happened in 1986. And yesterday there was a military action there, a battle. There was a danger probably of something to happen. And as a result, after a fierce battle, the news are saying the Russian army took control over the place. In the commentators are saying that this somehow will make the West a hostage, because Russia now owns the place that is dangerous and can unleash radiation everywhere.
Now a lot
There is a lot of speculation. Even the Ukrainian officials are saying that the radiation is increasing there since yesterday.
a lot of
That's what they say.
a lot of leaders are saying they are going to start using nuclear power because they are planning of removing all nuclear power, but because now Russia can stop the gas to all of Europe, they're saying, like in France and other countries are saying they're returning to nuclear power.
Yes, this is also part of the nuclear issue this year, definitely. Let's hope there will be no more, but I'm not so sure. So this is one thing. Also, in the omens from eclipses, so meanings written in ancient texts about the eclipses that happened last year, especially those in May and June, and also a lunar eclipse that happened in November last year. Some part of the meanings were that there will be scarcity of food, that the prices will go up of the food, especially the ancient texts were mentioning wheat and other similar cultures. And this is literally happening now, as Ukraine and Russia are the main producers of those things. The military conflict already leads the prices really high about those things. So this is also happening. So the ancient texts are correct, of course. Also, I told you in the last video that when the node touch the star Algol, there will be economical problems. This is happening right now. We can see the inflation the last 2 days is starting to accelerate. So now let's begin with the war. So I will show you, let's see how to do it. I will show you the chart of the beginning of the war, calculated for the city of Kharkov, where the main campaign began against Ukraine. Let's show it. I prefer to show you this type of chart. This is the traditional, you can call it medieval astrology chart. Actually, this type of tradition comes from ancient Persia. It was used in all medieval countries of Europe, including also North India. So this is the traditional astrology view. And so the war started, according to the news, 24th of February 2022, in 5 a.m., the first shots of the war started and the war began. So, what the ancient texts are saying about what you see here. Also remember that what you see is calculation in sidereal astrology with sidereal signs, which was again the practice of the ancients. Sidereal signs are those on the path of the sun, so-called ecliptic. Along the path of the sun are the fixed stars of the zodiac constellations. So roughly this corresponds to what you see in the sky. For instance, that night, as you can see, the sun is below the horizon. The moon was going towards the midheaven, and she was among the stars of Scorpio. The sun is in Aquarius, which is not a good sign. What the ancient texts are saying here? So many things, actually. I wonder where to begin. So I will follow here the notes. So, one by one. So they say that from the ascendant is known the beginning of the war and also the cause. Another text is saying that the cause can be seen also from the midheaven. The midheaven is 2 degrees Scorpio.
What did you say? The what? The cause.
The cause of for the war. The reason. Yes. So the ascendant is Capricorn. So one of the reasons will be. So what is Capricorn? Capricorn is dominion, power, and land, right? Scorpio on the midheaven shows the political reasons. As you will see later. What?
Machinations, maneuvering, kind of.
No, clearly political reasons, I think, here. I will become more clear later. So the result of the war is according to, so the ancient texts are saying also that the attacker is shown by the ascendant and everything there. Those that are attacked by the 7th house. So the ascendant is Capricorn. There we have Mercury and Saturn. So Saturn represents both Russia and the leaders of Russia. Here, Saturn is in his own sign. It's actually strong. Also, it's invisible, and with Mercury, we can say there is a lot of secret things going on, and there can be some inherent weakness also for the leader. There are some things also that suggest that he can be even sick. I'm talking about Putin. The ancient texts, they're saying the king, of course.
Because Saturn is invisible?
Not only because Saturn is invisible and Saturn is close to a place known as part of sickness.
Oh.
Yes. So maybe this is one of the things that made him do those things. Like maybe he feels that he has to do it, and maybe he feels that he has no time. I don't know. This is only like suggestions, but possibilities. Okay, there are also other things there. However, Saturn still is in a better position compared to the ruler of the 7th house. So the 7th house is Cancer. It represents Ukraine and its leaders in this case. And the ruler is the moon in Scorpio in the 11th house. So definitely the ruler of and the positions related to Russia are much stronger because the moon in Scorpio is debilitated. She's not in good position there in general.
And it's with the south node.
It's with the south node. Also, it's with the midheaven, which is also important. But it's a little tricky here because the moon, the ruler of Ukraine, goes to the midheaven.
That's a strong position.
Which is a strong position. For a time, we can think that this means a lot of strength for them. Actually, it gives them some strength, definitely. So, let's see what else to say here. Many things are in my notes. So, so as you can see, the strength is shown more for Russia, which we all know is like this. Another thing the ancient texts are saying is that when the moon, for instance, is waning, she indicates the one that is attacked. So again, even if it's not the ruler of the 7th house, the moon represents Ukraine. And then they say in such a condition of the moon, the sun shows the attacker. The attacker then is the sun in Aquarius, which is with Jupiter.
Isn't Aquarius the sign of Russia?
Also of Ukraine, by the way.
Oh.
I wonder sometimes. So the ancient texts are saying that Scythia, in ancient times, name for the lands in Ukraine, maybe not so much about the lands of modern Russia and Moscow. They said that they are Aquarius.
Yes, but in Ukraine, Ukraine was the start of Russia hundreds of years ago. That's why.
Yes. But I think they have also some Capricorn, Russia, definitely. So, as descendant here also relates them to this sign. So anyway, the sun here represents Russia. The ancient texts are saying whoever of the both significators, like the moon in this case, Ukraine, or the sun, which is Russia, has whoever of those have some association with benefic planet like Jupiter or Venus, he will be the victor, the winner. And we can see that here Jupiter is with the sun, the significator of Russia. Also, we saw that the ascendant ruler, which shows Russia, and the ascendant is again stronger than the one that represents Ukraine, which is the moon in Scorpio for the chart of the war. So these are some signs here, but this is not everything, of course. So there are also many other interesting things. Part of the ancient text is saying that when the rulers of the first and the seventh houses, Saturn and the moon, when they have like favorable aspect to each other, it means that there will be a truce, negotiations, and that there will be a peace achieved. And they say that the one that is beholding, the one who is looking upon the other, in this case, the fastest planet is the moon. She beholds towards Saturn. So in this case, those that will desire peace are shown by the moon, which is Ukraine. So, and they say even that for another thing, that when Mars is in the 12th harmonic or 12th part, we can say it like this for those who understand, of a sign of Venus, he is in the 12th part of Venus, Mars. Then they say when Venus has more association with some of the party, that party will beg for peace. Venus has association with the party of Ukraine.
Why?
In this case, because she is with the ruler of the moon. And so the ancient texts in short are saying that Ukraine will beg for peace. They already saw that they are talking about peace, some government officials from Ukraine. So the ancient texts probably are correct. So we will see if the part for begging for peace, probably will not know about that. But this is what the ancients are saying. So other way to look upon the things is, okay, so there will be other positions are saying that when the well-configured rulers of the first and seventh houses have some influence from Jupiter, in this case, Jupiter is making square to the moon and in conjunction with the sun. So the moon is involved with Jupiter. So they say that they will reconcile for the reason of expediency. So they will search for true reason and logic and to be practical. This will be the main reasons for achieving peace. There are many other interesting things here, so let's see what else. Another way to look upon the chart about this military astrology analysis, the ancient texts are saying that Mars is the battle. The planet that he flows away from is the attacking party. So there are two ways to see this. The previous star that he made conjunction was actually Venus. And before that, he was associated with Jupiter. So Venus or Jupiter, in first place, probably Venus represents the attacker, which is in this case Russia. In this other way to see things. And they say also the one Mars connects, makes the subsequent aspect after the separation with the previous, will show the attack. So there will be Moon and Mars conjunction soon. So it's the Moon. A little bit, couple of days later, 6th of March, and all the time, also Mars and Venus. So I'm prone to think that here both Venus represents both the attacker and the attacked.
Mhm.
In the ancient text, there is such explanation about such situation. So they say if Mars is coming from a benefic to another benefic, like here from Venus to Venus, this is because of the conjunctions that Mars makes with Venus a couple of days ago, like 15th of February and 6th of March, again with Venus.
Mm.
So when he makes so, they say, from benefic to benefic, it profits not only the ones that are making war, but also the ones that are made war upon. What this can mean? Both sides, the ancient texts are saying, turn to peace and negotiations,
Oh,
peace and truce.
great news. Are you saying that this war will be pretty slow? Because people are posting everywhere, Third World War, not slow, pretty fast, sorry. Because people are saying Third World War, everyone will get involved, China, blah, blah.
Yes. It will be not slow. Definitely it will be not slow. If everything is true in this chart, right? So they actually say, the ancient text, that if a tropical sign is on the ascendant, so in this case, the beginning of Capricorn can be related to as a tropical sign. So they say then it will be really fast.
Really fast, okay.
So and I can see that between the ascendant and Mercury there are 14 degrees. So I think that the negotiation and the truce will take place on the 14th day.
Okay.
So this makes it around 10th of March.
Okay. This Mercury is like to talk, to make a contract, something.
Yes, Mercury is negotiation. Some signs about it will be seen probably when Mars makes a conjunction with Venus 6th of March. Already things will be decided from the military point of view, I think, in that time. And the negotiations will take place. But this interaction, Mars and Venus, will happen in the first degree of Capricorn. Mars will be exalted. Venus is in the sign of Saturn. This is in a much more difficult position than Mars. So this, I think, means that the attackers will, of course, dictate everything in the peace truce. And there is something else that the ancient texts are saying. They say that if a planet in the second house is in difficult sign, the sun is like that. The sun is in Aquarius, is not considered to be favorable in Aquarius. In the second house, so they are mentioning that the government will be destroyed.
The government of Ukraine, yeah, in this case.
In this case, obviously, the government of Ukraine will be destroyed, according to the signs here.
Pro-Russian government instead in Ukraine.
Yes, we can make all the conclusions from this, definitely. So, however, there are also other things that are interesting to know here. So when Mars is taken from benefics, they say the reason of the war is fair. So the ancients are saying that the reason of the war is fair.
Because they're showing on the news only the side of Ukraine. I don't know. Because like on the news, it's only Russia is vilified. But there must be, you're saying that there must be reasons they're doing it for sure.
Yes, that's why I tried to give you some history backwards to see the reasons of Russia are that this was her land and she fought many wars for it in the past to free it from oppressors. And the peoples actually they are very close to each other and very mixed today. So maybe this is what the ancient texts are showing now about this, because when Mars is coming from benefic planets, from conjunction with them, from aspects with them, the ancient texts are saying the reason is fair and the outcome also is fair.
Well, they're shooting at Pentagon bases, aren't they? I don't know if they're shooting at civilians too, but as far as I know, they've taken many Pentagon bases. So mostly they don't want the Western influence in Ukraine or like the NATO influence there or the American influence, whatever.
Yes, of course. They don't want to lose all the things there. So the ancient text has to say more about those things, by the way. So, and there, the ancient texts are saying that when Mars will be connecting with stars of similar nature, here there are some rules about the night planets and day planets. So the planets with the same group as Mars are the Moon and Venus. So he's relating in the next days with the Moon and Venus exactly. And the ancient texts are saying that this shows that the warriors are from the same family or race.
Oh my God, exactly.
Which is exactly the case. Yes, we know this.
They're the same people, they speak the same language, they have the same history. It's brother versus brother, yeah.
Exactly. So, and the ancient texts are saying that if Mars is in the 12th house, so you see he is in the 12th house.
It is in the 12th.
In the 12th house in Sagittarius. Then here, then the ancient texts are saying the war will be about political subjects. So the war is led actually mostly because of the political subjects, to rule them, to have them, the people of Ukraine, actually. Russia wants to rule the people of Ukraine, this is the reason. Yes, so of course they have many reasons for this, as you already know. You can read history. Also, other things. Also, the war is not shown to be a big one. The ancient texts are saying this, but it's very logical because Mars signifies the war here. So big things, important, powerful things are happening in the angular houses, like 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th.
But Mars is within 3 degrees of the ascendant.
Yes, you're correct, but it's declining already. So we will see. You may have some right about it. But the ancients are saying if he's declining, if he's in the 12th house, and he really is, then the war, they say, will be not notable, will be not a big one.
There are other charts at 555 saying that the war started then. I don't know.
All the news are saying that the war started at 5 a.m.
Well, let's hope this is the correct time, so it goes away fast, like you said. And are there other countries that will get involved? Can you see that? Is there any indications?
So the allies of both parties are shown by the surrounding houses. For instance, 12th house and 2nd house shows the allies of Russia. A lot of planets are there. Venus, Mars, the Sun, and Jupiter. As you will see, the houses surrounding the 7th house. This is the 6th house in Gemini and the 8th house in Leo here. They are empty. And their rulers not so favorably posited. So definitely, if someone is having allies, this is Russia.
Because Europe
you can see in a way that Ukraine stands alone. She does not receive help, so we can say even that the West is even aligning with Russia. So,
well, they said actions, but
if you look the actions, the military actions, it looks like there's no help for Ukraine, and the same is the condition of the chart. Right. So that's why I don't think there will be a big war, because Uranus stands. The significators of allies of Ukraine are actually not effective.
Thank you so much. That brings peace of mind a bit. We still pray that there are no victims and at least civilian people, and that God will bring quick solutions and peace. What can I say? Like, we've had enough since 2020 to start a war now, a world war, something like that. But you gave us some positive news, and I really, really pray that it's, that it's correct.
There are also other things.
Okay, here.
Yes, like the ancient texts are not stopping there. They say that when Mars is not stationary, short duration of war. Okay. Let's hope this will be also. Mars is not stationary. So they say also when the moon goes towards the midheaven, there will be a lot of talk about the victory achieved. Of course, already everybody are talking about the war. Also, they're saying that when Venus is rising or post-ascending after the ascendant, and is with Mars, and she is Eastern, all those things are actually true for her. She is rising above the ascendant, she is with Mars. She is Eastern planet, rising before the Sun. And they say makes the leaders effective and lucky. So this is about the Russian leaders, effective and lucky, and the army obedient. So he has the obedience of the army. Also, they say that when Mercury is rising Eastern, he is rising in the ascendant, indicates happiness and the sharp action of the army. So again, this is for the Russian army.
Because it's on their side, because they were the ones that
Yes,
attacked.
because it is rising, yes, in the ascendant, which signifies Russia. However, Mercury in the ascendant with Saturn, the ancient texts are saying, shows damage for the army. So they will not go without losses. Damage for the army is indicated according to the ancient text. And also when Mercury is with Saturn, the ancient texts are saying, he signifies that the leaders and soldiers of the army are unjust. So they have just cause according to the text, but they themselves, the ancient texts are saying, are not just. And they can become even villainous, the ancient texts are saying.
I just saw a video of a Russian tank on purpose going over a car of a civilian with the civilian inside. It was kind of, I guess, so whatever the cause is, the people inside can turn a bit crazy, basically. The soldiers, you said. The army.
So I'm again saying that because there is a favorable aspect between the Lord of the Ascendant and the Sun House, there will be a peace according to the texts.
Can you see there will be many victims on the side of Ukraine, for example, civilian victims? So how can we look at
not so many. There is, at least there, I didn't found like such correspondence in the ancient text with the positions in the chart about that. They are describing conditions for much slaughter, for much victims, but I didn't found them.
Oh, good to hear that.
So, however, they are saying also additional things that when the ascendant is tropical sign, the undertaking, they say, will be unaccomplished. So, which means that Russia will not achieve everything that she desires. which is interesting. But this is what they say. And there is also some other things. So the fourth house, they say, represents the result of the war. So there are two ways to see the fourth house here. First, the lower combination place. This is 2 degrees Taurus, the cusp of the fourth house in the modern house systems.
Yeah.
There we have a lot of problems because the North Node is there and the star that we talk about much in the latest months, Algol, the unlucky, the destructive star Algol is there. So then it can be said that the results of the war are destruction, death, and much psychological problems. The North Node can show those. Also financial ruin, because it's Taurus. This star is known to give like financial problems in certain moment, especially with bad associations. She is with the North Node here. You can see, because the conjunction is going on now in the heaven, you can see this happening for the world. But in this case, as a result of the war, yes, it's happening for the entire world, and also will happen in this case, obviously, for the attacker too. This is expected as the world will impose, the West especially will impose a lot of sanctions.
Will further deepen. That's like the whole world loses now, because the price of oil, the price of gas coming from Russia, it will really take a big hit on the wallets of the normal person.
Exactly. There are also many other things to see according to the ancient text, how the Russia victory is shown. There is a place called Victory. This is the lot of Jupiter, 16 degrees Leo in the 8th house. However, the ruler, the sun, is also significator of Russia, and is with Jupiter, and is on the side symbolized and related to Russia. Also, they say the part of fortune, if she is on the eastern side, here is the part of fortune, this circle with an X. She is in the eastern side. They say this party will win. And again, this also shows again Russia.
So all confirmations are going towards, all indications are going towards Russia.
But there is also additional thing. If the ruler of the part of fortune, they say, is below the horizon, this is Jupiter, and he is below the horizon. So the part of fortune is in Pisces, he is in the 2nd house, which is below the horizon. And the ancient text is saying there will be deliverance from war, and there will be agreement. So we are expecting, according to the logic that I draw from all those texts, is that there will be agreement, and it will happen in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
And even less. And the results of the war will be financial problems, and of course some mortality, definitely. So because the Algol star is related also to death. Let's say it. She is also related to death directly, according to the ancient text. They say that whoever has it with malefic means that he will lose his head.
Yeah.
Will be executed. So we can say executions as a result of the war.
So for the impoverishment of people and for the economic crisis, I wonder who benefits from that at some higher level behind the scenes of all of this. Because I never believe something is whatever is shown in the news, so it's just normal. I believe there's always like way more hidden things we're not aware of, that someone is pulling the strings towards a bigger plan. But that's just my mind. Well, thank you so much, Trifun.
Yeah, so I hope this is somehow helpful to people to know all those things, or at least as interesting information, and to, yes, to help them to put their minds in the right direction. Here, knowing some of these lines of the ancients. These ancient texts, they are really ancient. At least 13th centuries, but even the authors there are saying that at the time they collected them, they were already ancient. So this is the astrological experience of ancient astrologers and humanity in general. And if they know something, then you will see. Now you already, all of you, heard what they think about the matter.
Thank you. Imagine how many wars they must have gone through to see those correlations over the years.
At the time, they were not stopping, literally. So
I was kind of hoping that's way behind us as humanity, but not yet.
So of course, it's very sad, everything that is happening, that it has to be in this way, although it is happening. So we are all on the side of those that are suffering in the war. And I hope that things will finish soon and without bloodshed and without suffering for the Ukrainian people and whoever else is involved also.
Amen. Well, they are in our prayers, everyone in those areas. Thank you so much.
Everyone has the right to think how he must develop himself, like in the case of Ukraine. But the complex is the thing is really complex. It's involved a lot of history here, so it's very difficult to judge the matter from all sides.
Yeah, there are a lot of unknown things as well. As you see, Saturn is invisible, the ruler of the whole chart, and Pluto is on the ascendant there. I think their force is way deeper. As I said, Pluto for me is, what do they call it, the deep state, or the a few 200-300 people that are ruling the world. For me, they part of something there. When I see Pluto, I'm like, oh, the Illuminati, or whatever, the deep state. There is, maybe I'm a bit over exaggerating, but there is something more that is invisible to the eyes there.
Definitely. The combination Mercury and Saturn already shows that there is much deception, invisible things, and tricky moments, especially from the side of the attackers. So
thank you so much, Trifun. If anyone would like to contact Trifun, I'll put a link below. He also does personal readings using ancient astrology methods. As you can see, his knowledge is fascinating. And thank you again. And prayer for the warring countries. Bye-bye.